That's why we needed the Kiddush, because we definitely need a lot of simcha in order to be mekabel Torah's buses, the Torah buses. This is Mitzvah Shem, the week where we cap off buses. Hopefully we try to finish buses this week. I mean, I don't know if that's possible. Let's see, try to finish buses and move to the last parts of Hilchos Muksa, Be'ezus Hashem. So and I mentioned to the Olam, I told Rabbi Yitzchak, I'll tell the Olam also that the next thing we're doing is Siman Shin Yud, Sif Zayin and Ches. We're going to be doing Ches then Zayin. And that's the big sugas of buses. It could be a bit of probably by now. I have the Marmakai Mesifim, but that's the next part of buses. The 6 sifim in the middle of Shin Yud, Aleph Tevav, and Mitzvah Shem we'll come back to. That's a different type of muksa. But Sif Zayin and Ches is the Hamshach, and now we have a lot of work to do still to finish up a lot of these topics. So let's pick up where we left off here. The Igros Moshe. Actually, I need a Igros Moshe in the Chelek Hey. You're getting this message? Yeah. In other words, Chelik Ches, the Or Chaim Chelik. Yeah. The Igros Moshe, thank you. The Igros Moshe is discussing at what point, we mentioned this the other day, let's clarify this now. The Igros Moshe is discussing at what point does the item have to be on the table to create the buses, or wherever it's going to be? Where does it have to be in order to create this buses issue? Where does it have to be? What time does the Davar Mutter have to be on the table? At what point does the Davar Mutter be on the table? Obviously, we realize that it's got to be something to do with Shkia, Ben Hashmash is something in that realm. And the question is, what exactly do we need to be, at what point do we need to be having the Leichter on the table? The Igros Moshe, first of all, before we get to that, Shaila, the Igros Moshe discusses in Chav Beis. All these tshuvas are the short tshuvas of the Igros Moshe in Or Chaim, volume Hey, Chav Beis. This one is in Lamed Daled. They're all in Chav Beis. This one's in Lamed Daled. Where Moshe says, what time is Ben Hashmash? We don't know yet when we need it there, but we know it has something to do with Ben Hashmash. Which Ben Hashmash? Says Rabbi Moshe. You all know there's a very big fight. Ben Hashmash is some cheetahs hold the first 13 minutes after what we call Shkia, Shkia Rishayna now. I think Shkia is around 5:20 or 5:25, something like that. That's the first Shkia. The first Shkia is about 5:20 or 5:25, something like that. And there are shitas that hold that Ben Hashmashis is for 13 minutes afterward. For the next 13 and a half minutes afterward, that's Ben Hashmashis. And that's when these rules would go into play. There are those that hold, everybody knows already. Everybody knows there's a second Ben Hashmash, is a second Shkia, which is 58 and a half minutes later. That would be somewhere around 6:10 today, at least in Yerushalayim, something about that. Maybe, no, more, 6:20, 6:20, something around 6:20, 6:22, whatever. And so about 6:22 is a second Shkia. And then there are those that hold Ben Hashmash starts then. Ben Hashmash starts then. And then there are those that hold, no, that's all, the Rabbeinu Tam and the whole Machlekes, the Goyin, Rabbeinu Tam, they're all fighting, not in, they're not fighting, it's hard to say, where exactly are they fighting? Because we live in Eretz Yisrael and the Shas was written in Iraq maybe, or they lived in France. And, okay, where exactly the Machlekes is we spoke about when we learned already. But they're fighting somewhere else. And Mashenkin, let's say in Yerushalayim, there are many that hold that no, Shkia, even though we say Shkia is at 5:25, but the Ben Hashmashis goes somewhere for about 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. And all these are numbers that you've heard in the past. This has to do with Chanukah. This has to do with a lot of Torah, is Chanukah and Kabbalah Shabbos and Tosefta Shabbos and v'chulei, right? And, as a matter of fact, this Friday night, I applied at the Maisa. Somebody came to me with a Shaila. His Shaila was he wasn't feeling well, but it wasn't bad enough to warrant medicine, he said. He said if he felt like this on Shabbos, he wouldn't require medicine. So right before I was, it was in shul. It was about 12 minutes after Shkia, about 12 minutes. He said to me, he doesn't feel so bad. He said, but he's afraid that it'll come on Shabbos. He'll feel bad enough that he has to take medicine. Right? Yeah, he had corona already, and he has all these pains and things. But he's not a chayil. He said he gets pains, and thank you so much. He gets. He told me. Oh, thank you so much. Perfect. He told me he gets pains, and they said when he gets these pains, generally he's going to wind up having to take medicine, but he's not sure, and he's not at the point yet where it warrants taking medicine. On Shabbos, in order to take medicine, you have to be bedridden. And he said he can't tell you 100% he gets to that point. It depends on the day and whatever. So he said to me, "What should he do? It's Ben Hashmash. Is it better to take it now?" I told him yes. My cheshbon was I had about 5 cheshbonis. The shul had already been Makabel Shabbos. That's why it complicates the cheshbon. If the shul hadn't been Makabel Shabbos, the shul's about to be Makabel Shabbos. And he came to me, we were in the middle of the Chadoidi, in the middle of Kabbalah Shabbos. Mishbrua says Mizmor Shiur is already Kabbalah Shabbos. He's a part of this shul, so that would take him, that would schlep him. And once he would be schlepped with the Kabbalah, so then you don't have anymore the heter of Shvus and Ben Hashmashis. We know there's a heter to do the Rabbanon's Ben Hashmashis when it's very nachitz, when it's very necessary, when it's a Kavod Shabbos, something. So his case is a very necessary thing. It's a Rabbanon and it's Ben Hashmashis, but the Mishabura goes with the Shita in Reish Samach Aleph that once there's a Kabbalah Shabbos, then already we don't accept the Shvusim Ben Hashmashis. Once there's a Kabbalah Shabbos, if it's your own Kabbalah Shabbos, if it's Kabbalah of the Tzibur, this is all big fights. But there was the worst of all because it would be a Kabbalah Tzibur. Because at that point, 12 minutes, 13 minutes afterward, it was about to be a Kabbalah of the Tzibur. So I told him, it was literally 12 minutes after, I said to him, run home and just take the medicine. What was my cheshbon? He wanted to know after, what was the cheshbon? So, because they're making a Kabbalah Tzibur. So, there's one cheshbon right away, is that if he's anyways going to have to take the medicine, so then let it be preventative, and why should he get to the point of tsar? Okay, there's definitely that cheshbon. There's another cheshbon that the Mishabura, this isn't such a known cheshbon, this is one of my Eker cheshbonis. Mishabura brings also in Tavkuf Chav Zayin, also in Siman Reish Samach Aleph, also in Siman Shimon Beis. He brings the Derech Chaim. Derech Chaim is the Nesivis that has a tzad that even the Derech Chaim is also a quote of the Taz. It's not like small people, it's the biggest people, that they have a tzad that Kabbalah Tzibur, you still have the heter of Shus and Ben Hashmashis. Even after Kabbalah Tzibur, the Shabbat says, B'shas Tzchak, it could be Mekel. It's a funny thing. You could learn the Sugya and not know that, because the Mishabura doesn't come out like that, La'alacha. But the Mishabura comes out that B'shas Tzchak, you can philosoph on that sheet. Okay. But so what's the B'shas Tzchak? If it would be so bad that he could take medicine on Shabbos, right? So then he's allowed to take medicine on Shabbos anyways, right? So then we have to be finding something which is not as much as that in order to get to here. That was my cheshbon here also. There's another cheshbon and another cheshbon that L'maisa, that I had a few cheshbonis. But again, one of the cheshbonis that was going through the cup was according to some shitas, it's not even Ben Hashmashis yet, right? That doesn't necessarily help us so much by Kabbalah Tzibur, but according to certain cheshbonis, it's still day. It's still day. Rabbeinu Tam would be driving to the mikveh at this point. He wouldn't be driving back from the mikveh. He'd be driving to the mikveh at this point, right? And besides, this was certain cheshbonis, but this is really our sugya. So Moshe has asked the question, when we talk about our sugya, because each sugya you have to don its klalim. Our sugya, when we discussed it, you have a heter shvusim, when you have a heter, when you have the problem, the trouble starts, immediately diskatzai, and the basis becomes the basis. And everything, the Shem Muksa gets hooked at Ben Hashmashis. What is Ben Hashmashis? What's Ben Hashmashis? So Moshe says, a very cryptic statement. I'll have it here, so I might as well read it. Thank you so much for that. Your work should not be in vain. In Chav Beis Lamed Daled, so Moshe says, Eiziz Manu Nikra Ben Hashmashis Lagabe Din Muksa. You can't get more explicit than that, right? What's called Ben Hashmashis for the time of when things are hooked as Muksa, right? Nafkamina, I put the challah on the table 3 minutes after this, but it wasn't on the table later on, and whatever. These things actually can happen, right? It's a funny thing. When you make early Shabbos, you can for sure have this, right? Think about it. The person makes early Shabbos. They start eating. When do the Chavos make early Shabbos? When they start eating? Before Shkia? Right? Before Shkia. So he starts eating. The candles are on the table. Just imagine this. It's something that a person wouldn't realize, right? He makes early Shabbos. The candles are on the table. He knows he has the challah on the table and the candles on the table. So he starts eating. Let's say Shkia would be 6 o'clock. Make it a round number, okay? So Shkia is 6 o'clock. He starts eating about 5:30. Is it like that? Or earlier even? No, like 5:30. So he starts eating 5:30. What happens after you finish the challah? There's no challah left on the table. What's left on the table? The leichters, right? There could be a time, it hits Ben Hashmashis, very, very possible case, right? Not an upgefrekt case. So now you have to start figuring out, you want to move the table. You say, whoa, move the table. The challahs weren't on the table at Ben Hashmashis. So you say, well, let's figure out when was Ben Hashmashis. So you find out that the challahs were on the table, for the first minute of Ben Hashmashis. If they weren't on the table at all, Ben Hashmashis, for sure it's a problem. Okay, we have to see other things on the table. Did they beat the light? We'll talk about all these things, right? But Al Kapanim, let's say, nothing's on the table except for some plates, and you don't have fancy plates or whatever. What? You're there, but you're not on the table. If you're on the table, that's a very weird thing, right? What are you doing on the table? But also, it's dangerous. You can get from the fire. There's leichters on the table. It's very dangerous, right? Watch him. Yeah? But upon him, you knew that would happen. I'm nice to him because he's a kohen, but so be careful. What? No, that we're going to see Mefurish in the Paiskim, not like that. It's totally everything in Shkia. That's a very good question. He's right. I pointed that out without telling it to you. This has nothing to do with your Kabbalah Shabbos. I'm sorry, he's right. I should point this out. Rabbi Naiman's right. The first thing I have to tell you is that everything's totally in Ben Ishmashis. But in Hashem, we have to prove that. What? It gets complicated, but Pashtus is not even a basis until then, right? We'll have to see that. It might be Machmir, but what? Yeah, there's Muksa, but the rules of Ben, that's Hashem. This is, it says in the Mishabura. The Mishabura says first that when Ben Ishmashis, Mishabura is first. So I have to figure it out, but you're right. Come again? We have to see what, but let's say the matziv of where your mamish, you're between servings, okay? Let's just say, let's say you take off all the challah and you take off the fish, and now there's nothing on the table. Like, is there going to be a time like that? Now it's true, there might be benches on the table. It's not going to be the most common case. I'm asking, it's not the most common case. By the way, everybody said, every piece of challah that we're going to talk about hopefully today, tomorrow, but every piece of challah might not beat the candles. Maybe it's the challah beats the candles because the challah you're getting the mitzvah of lechem mishnah. Maybe I got the mitzvah already. Maybe once I got the mitzvah already, maybe the candles are more important than the challah. All these things we have to talk about. I'm not putting anything on the side here. It's a sham. But let's just imagine the case is he cleaned the challah off the table. He cleaned the fish off the table. All that's on the table is the leichtas now, and you have to make sure there's no zmiris on the table. Otherwise, that might be winner. So now in this case, now he wants to know, when was it on the table? When was it on the table? Was it on the table at Shkia? All these things. Was it on the table at Shkia? So they ask Rav Moshe this question. When do I need it? Ezis manu nikra ben hashmachas l'gabe did muksi. Come to Rav Moshe. My challah was on the table, 3 minutes into Shkia. It was there for 3 minutes into Shkia, but that's the first Shkia. According to Rabbeinu Tam, that's not a Shkia b'chlal, right? It's you didn't do anything. According to Rabbeinu Tam, you can't move the table. It's a basis. The fellow, Rabbi say, the fellow finishes his meal before Rabbeinu Tam came home from the mikveh. It's 50 minutes after Shkia, ganz fine, he might have finished his meal. and now he wants to go and move his table. Who says? Maybe Ben Ishmashis is the second Ben Ishmashis. This is the kasha they asked with Moshe. What? You were Makavin somewhat to Rav Moshe. I think who thinks that Rabbi Buki should make a kiddush based on that? Wait a minute. Wait a second. Also for the baby, no? You made a kiddush here for the baby? Okay. Kiddush. Okay. And for the wedding even. Okay. 3 kiddushes, right? 3 kiddushim. Everybody on the TV is masking also you should make a kiddush. You're making a kiddush. Okay. Another cheap stuff that went on Thursday. Okay? Yeah. So Rav Moshe Feinstein says, Ezis manu nikra ben hashmashis, legabe did mukseh. Everybody say, Zman ben hashmashis, hu lefi kol echad. Hanoyig legabe zman ben hashmashis, legabe shar din hashmashis. So sort of what you're saying. Whatever is your ben hashmashis, right? So Rabbi Buki's ben hashmashis starts, I think, around now, from Friday, right? But so no, be'emes, everybody, it's confusing. So most of the Litvish chevra that are here, I know now I have to be racial friendly, and because Kallus has changed its ethnic groups a little bit. So the most of the chevra over here, the shkia by most of us is like, we'll call from shkia Rishona, and therefore the Ben Hashmashis period, nobody 13 minutes after Shabbos is already willing to do a malacha, chas v'chalila, or whatever. So now each person, kafi mashu. If you have somebody in this room that is, the calendar says, I don't think 36 minutes, 2 times chai, or something like that. So then 36 minutes, that's already by him says Shabbos. So then 36 minutes will be his Ben Hashmash's time period, something like that, right? And if you have somebody who's a little bit more liberal, I don't know if the Chassidim are so liberal. I think they're just machmir, because I don't think there's anybody in this room, and if I do know, I'll probably throw them out, that would do malacha after Shkia, right? The Shkia Rishayna. So besides, then these guys are just going to have to be more So even with my ethnic friendliness, it comes out that they have to be more machmir. They're going to be from Shkia Rishayna all the way until 72 minutes. That'll be Ben Hashmashis. Now we'll see. That might not be machmir. In this case, it might be a kula. They might have just gotten a kula. They might have got a chumrah, they might have got a kula. Let's see. Okay? But you get my point that this shaila is not so clear. Okay? But you know now how to don the shaila. The shaila is going to be, for example, how do I say? For example, if you have a Litvish Jew right? Is there any Litvaks here that want to admit that they'll make early Shabbos or Basher? Okay, so you make early Shabbos, and he's done, early Shabbos. He's done already he ate a half an hour before Shkia. A long meal. It goes till half an hour after Shkia, till 6:30. Okay, and then that's it. Then he cleans off the table. Gendig the ganze Meise. So if he would be. So God in his case, he's a Litvish fellow, so maybe the Benish Mashis, the Kallus were on the table. We'll have to see what was on the table. But if let's say he decides that moment to do tshuva and to go in the ways of his Zaydis that were taka, at that time coming back from the Bikva, and he decides to go back to his Chassidish roots, and he decides at that point, that's it, from now on, I'm going to be waiting longer time. So then, Sekum Tais, that now he has on the table at 6:30 Leichters and nothing else. When is the real Shkia? Well, 20 minutes from now, 30 minutes, there's Leichters on the table, there's a buses. Okay, I'm saying right now. So now, Rabbi Jordi, 7 o'clock comes, and now he decides to move the table. Based on what? Based on Kallus that he had the table at 6 o'clock. So now we tell him that you're an Avarian. That's what we say. Good? No? Again, if he had the Kallus, he had the Kallus on the table at 6 o'clock. Okay? He wants to move the table at 7:30. Okay? He finishes his meal at 6:30. So now, if his Benish Mashis turns into 7 o'clock or something like that, so now that was the case. Again, there's a million cases, and we'll see that the halacha is not like I'm saying right now. That it's just to bring out that this is something that you're going to have to contend with. Right? Okay, that's rule number one. Again, we don't know anything yet. Watch, now starts the trouble. Good, go ahead. Right? All right. Come again? Maybe. So that kazayis is chashiv, right? That kazayis has chshivas, right? Okay, maybe. What? We don't know yet. That's a whole parsha, but it's like, that's a mamash whole shiur. I hope to get to it probably at the end of the shiur here. I have that shiur. I mean, it doesn't look good because I've done so far one line. Right? But at the end of the shiur, on the end of the page is where it says over here, how do you convey a value? And that's a big topic. That's the big topic. That's Siman Shin Yud Sif Ches, which I want them to start already. Ches, I told you, do Ches before Zayin. Zayin is very complicated. Ches is this, is who's, when you have Isser and you have Heter, who wins? When is Isser more important? When is Heter more important? And how do you determine the value of Isser, Heter, all these things? So that's a good shiloh. You're asking good shilohs, but we'll get there. The Pri Megadim, Derech Agav, where's Rabbi Naiman? The Pri Megadim says this. The Pri Megadim says it's not from, and this is Mekubal by all of the Paiskim. He says it's not from Kabbalah's Shabbos, it's from Ben Hashmashis. I guess that's the Lashon in the Gemara in Beya. What does the Gemara in Beya say? Any boidel me'am, right? What's the Lashon over there? I think a Chavbeis. Any boidel me'am kol ben hashmashis, or any boidel me'am kol ben hashmashis. That's where the rules were hooked. It has nothing to do with your Kabbalah Shabbos. But that's accepted by all the Paiskim. What's Ben Hashmashis? We still don't really know yet. Sorry? Yeah, that's a very important question. That's a very important question. So there's definitely muksa, right? There's definitely muksa for him because it's like any halachas he's accepting. The question is that therefore I can move the table. It comes out a weird thing, right? It comes out a very weird thing. It comes out that I have leichters on the table. Well, we didn't say this psak halacha yet. This is what Rabbi Buki is asking. That I have leichters on the table. It's again, Shkia is 6 o'clock. I accept the job is 5:30, whatever. Okay, so now I can move the table. Why? Tiltum in tzad. Let's say I need the place, whatever, right? And the table noch nicht gekommen in buses, right? This is not pashut at all, but that's what should come out. That's what should come out. The only question we're going to have to don is maybe the other direction. Maybe we'll have to see that the only thing we're discussing is can the buses be created? The creation of the buses is what we're discussing. But maybe somebody will come along, which we haven't gotten to yet, and say maybe there's a chumrah on the table that you have to fear zach as if it's Shabbos right now. And if it would be Shabbos right now, it can't create it, that it can asa the whole day, that it can't do, and it can't matter the whole day or whatever. But it's yitachin that maybe we have to fear zach in your Kabbalah Shabbos, how you would fear zach if taka, this was the start of Shabbos. You understand what I'm saying? That's what's not pasha. That I have to prove. If you understand? It's very simple. I mean, it's the concept is simple. I'm telling you that shkia, ben hashmashis, whatever, is kaveh everything. Bein lekula, maybe bein lechumra, meaning if I had the chalas on the table, whatever is called ben hashmashis, that saves the day. If I don't have the chalas on the table, ben hashmashis, that ruins the day. That made it into a basis. That's klape, the creation of my basis. The kvias of the creation of the basis is totally ben hashmashis. Now there's something else. Maybe your entire Kabbalah of Shabbos at 5:30. What? Kivyachol. Your entire creation is a self-imposed Shabbos. It's not really Shabbos. One moment. It's not really Shabbos, and you're not allowed to do the 39 melachas. So what is the gather of your Kabbalah? The gather of your Kabbalah is I fear to Chazoivi that Azoivi it's Shabbos. So what would be if it's Shabbos right now? So then this thing would be a basis, right? Because there's a leichter on it. That doesn't necessarily though create the problem of making her into a basis for the whole Shabbos. It's two different shmuzela. What? I didn't just say Allah l'maiser, but I'm just telling you that's sad. Why I don't want to go into Shabbos. You say another word, it's a fourth kiddush. All right? Yeah. Sorry? No. That'll be the same shayla. That'll be the shayla. The other person for sure can move the table. There's no shayla. So the other person for sure can move the table. He doesn't have Shabbos yet. There's no shayla. So the other person has no Shabbos yet. He can move the leichter. He can move everything. No, but maybe not. That's what we're clearing. Maybe you yourself accepted Shabbos as if it's Shabbos right now. No, not on Aksa, because the Aksa is only created at Ben Hashmashes. Maybe it's like a din. Can I ask you a question? You allowed to use a baby wipe at this point right now? No. Why? Because it's Shabbos. Is it really Shabbos? It's not really Shabbos. So the Tarot says it's a Kabbalah that you accepted Shabbos. So Kamoida, you understand you can't do that. So then maybe I have to look at it like Kivyachol right now. What would be the din if a leichter was on a table? Right? Rosh Zaman has a whole big tshuva about this in Michal Shah. You know what? I'm upset with you. 4 kiddush. Because you caused all this, okay? 4 kiddush. Don't smile. Your smile is going to get a 5th kiddush, okay? Yeah. Okay. No, I know that smile. I'm not giving a kiddush. You're giving kiddush, kid, okay? Yeah. Now, Rosh Zalman, let's get right to work here. Rosh Zalman, they bring in the Shulchan Shleima, but the truth is, it's a Mincha Shleima. Rosh Zalman in Reish Samach Gimel, in Ois Chav Gimel, he brings down they bring from the Mincha Shleima. The Mincha Shleima was in Beis Lamed Daled Ois Chav Zayin, right? He brings down over there a big chiddush. He has it sad, big chiddush. I'm not saying it's a small chiddush. He has it sad that even though what we're saying is true, the Pri Megadim says everything is totally in the Ben Hashmashes and not Kabbalah Shabbos. He has it sad, which I want you just to hear this now because it's something we're going to come back to. He has it sad that maybe Kabbalah Shabbos, at least by the candlesticks, the candlesticks. Dafka by the candlesticks might be worse, and it might be going after your Kabbalah. Everything else, not. But just the leichters, just the light, the candles, whatever. What would be the svar of such a thing? There are diukim all over. We're going to see in Reishai and Zayin, in Sivkat and Yitches. There's always diukim. Mishabur talks about putting the challahs on the table. Mishabur says already a weird lashon here. He says, very weird lashon. He says, Rabbi say, when should you put the challahs on the table? Does it matter when? Who cares when? As long as it's before Ben Hashmashes, right? Who cares when I put the leichters on the table, right? Lefi what you're hearing today. When should I put the leichter on the table? Whatever is Ben Hashmashes, I don't know yet. But before Ben Hashmashes, who cares when? Just any time before Ben Hashmashes, make sure. There's a weird Mishnah Berurah. Mishnah Berurah is never weird, so it means you're weird. Mishnah Berurah says in Reish Ayin Zayin Sivkat and Yitches, he writes a lashon here. He says, Minig Nashim Nizharis Litein Kikar at Sarach L'Shabbos. They take the bread, they put it on the table. Koidim Adlakas Neris. Why? Now, again, if you believe that there's extra drops of ink in the Mishnah Berurah, or that the Mishnah Berurah writes Lav Dafka things and things like that, and you hate the Mishnah Berurah, so then there's no diak, right? But if you love the Mishnah Berurah and you feel that every drop of ink you have to sit Shiva Nekiyim on, so then there's at least a diak over here. Why in the world did the Mishnah Berurah say this is what the Minig Nashim is that they put the challah on the table before the Adlakas Neris? You should say, he should say that the minig of Nashim is that they have challah on the table when they light. They make sure there's challah on the table. So Rabbi Lieberman says, well, that is the minig. That is the minig. But the Mishnah Berurah doesn't say, and also they wear the spitzel. What's it called? The schnitzel. What's the thing? What? The schnitzel. Shirtzel. Yeah, thank you. Right? It doesn't say, and while they're lighting, get shine with the shirtzel and eine guy eine shine. You know, he doesn't. It's not negay of the minig. It's not negay the halacha. Right? The Mishnah Berurah Weistais believes there's some reason why you need to know this part of the minig. I'm not saying this is 100% achleitis. The Halachos Rabbeinu, the great Stipler. This is in the a little out of my order now from this, but where am I? In the 119th page, I think it was 113th page, maybe. Where'd it go? I don't know where it is. But the Halachos Rabbeinu, I'll come to it soon probably. Where is it? Where's the Halachos Rabbeinu? All of a sudden, everyone's quiet. Where's the Halachos Rabbeinu? Where is it? I saw the Halachos Rabbeinu on Friday night. I wrote it down here. Not on Friday night. You can't write on Shabbos. I find it too. The Halachos of Bishul says that maybe there it is, 119. Halachos of Bishul, page 119. Halachos of Bishul says that there is, maybe you're supposed to be putting the Kallus on the table before Adlakas Neiros. He says to Mishnah Berurah, maybe it's bedafka. Maybe you're supposed to put the Kallus. Not only that, you're not going to believe this. He says, maybe, let's say you put the Adlakas Neiros down, you did the Adlakas Neiros, and you didn't put the Challah yet, right? And then you put the Challah after it. He says, okay, so now pick up the candles. You hear this, Maisa? Pick up the candles and then put them down. Like we want the challah on the table first. Now I have to talk about this as salamdas and buses, because now the table became a buses for the. In halacha, it's definitely a chumrah. It's not a. But we want that the table should be considered buses for the challah, and then afterward, it's less chashiv than the leichter. But you can't have it there first, because once it was there first, whatever. But the point is, you see that this is like a real thing over here. There's something going on here with the candles. This is what prompted Rosh Shlomo Zalman to say also an awesome chiddush. Again, la'alacha, so far it'll just be chumras, but Rosh Shlomo Zalman said an unbelievable chiddush based on this. Shlomo Zalman said this is why, even if the rest of the, in general, that we go basa ben hashmashes, and your drawer is totally in ben hashmashes, and everything is totally in ben hashmashes. Okay, but when it comes to your table and your leichters, so then maybe it's there, it's totally in your Kabbalah Shabbos. Because the woman, when she lights candles, she's makatzit. Maybe this has to do with the other thing we're talking about, that maybe it does become a basis, right away. And then there's some Zaman that says that's sad. That therefore everything else is totally in Ben Hashmashes, but this is totally in your Kabbalah Shabbos. So therefore, no matter what, before we even begin, whatever I'm about to tell you, you should always try to have the challahs on the table. And if you want to do it out of sight, you try to have the challahs on the table before the neiros on the table. It's a mitzvah farsa in this, because most people, maybe the minig is because people forget otherwise. Then they wind up forgetting to put the challah on the table. If that's part of your anhaga, that you put the challah and then you put the neiros, so then you're not going to forget. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's real. I don't know. But this is halacha. What? Before Adlakas Neiros. Mishnah Berurah says before Adlakas Neiros.
Not before the candles go onto the table.
But that we have to discuss. What's the din? Mishnah Berurah is discussing leichters, which were not like our leichters, which were expensive, possibly. It's not pashut. But our leichters might be a chesaron. Because all these things we'll talk about. Now, if I say like this. So now, what is ben hashmashes? Klape Allah l'maisa, right? So the lamdas over here, I explained the other day, is that we don't know when Shabbos starts. So Shabbos starts anytime in this, let's say, my half an hour period, my 36-minute period, right? Or let's say the 72-minute period. So the Shabbos might be starting anytime there. So now how do we look at this? So one way to look, and this is what it says in the Rashba, and this is what it says in the Ran, and this is what it says in a lot of Rishonim, in the Gemara in Beya, and Daf Lamed and Beis, right? The Gemara says, "Eini boidel me'am kol ben hashmashes." When you want to be kaveh the dinim, we kaveh it kol ben hashmashes. The lamdas being like this. If I have a leichter on the table, the entire ben hashmashes, let's do the easy case. I have leichter on the table, the whole entire ben hashmashes, and nothing else on the table. So then, I don't know when Shabbos started. It started somewhere between minute number 1 and minute number 72, right? And my leichter was on the table the whole entire time. So therefore, the second that it was, whenever that was, my leichter was here. So therefore, it was kaveya that it's a basis. If you go with what I just said, that's a kula. That's a kula. Because then that means that, let's say, between 1 minute and 72 minutes, or whatever your ben hashmashes is, but between 1 minute and 72 minutes, there was 1 minute that the leichter wasn't on the table. How did that happen? Okay, kasha. Or much easier, challah went onto the table for 1 second. You put challah on the table at minute number 71, right? Or the challah was on the table at minute number 1, before, right when shkia, right at shkia. So now, this is Gavaldik. Can I ask you, was your leichter on the table for 72 straight minutes? The answer is no. So then I can't say kol ben hashmashes. There was one moment that it was together with the challah, or there was one moment that the leichter wasn't there. If you go with this mahalach, so then I could say that was the minute. Prove me wrong. Maybe that's the minute that Shabbos came in. If that was the minute Shabbos came in, then the Shabbos started then. And beside, then the table taka never became aser. That minute, punct, was the minute it was off. So what are you going to say? Come on, roiv, or what? It doesn't work like that. We'll say it's a suffix derbanan, and we'll go the kula. And that's what seems to be in the Sefer Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah seems to say that. The Mishnah Berurah says that in Sivkatim Chav Zayin and Siman Shintes, I read this the other day, this is what it says in the Rashba, this is what it says in the Ran, this is what it says in the Gemara in Be'ed Daf Lamed and Beis, that I need the item to be there from before Ben Hashmashes till after Ben Hashmashes. Whatever lav dafka, there was the great guy in Reb Nissen said a lav dafka in a certain Mishnah. You can't lav dafka that Mishnah. That Mishnah is untouchable. It sounds like from the beginning till the end, that's when the trouble is. That's when you can get into trouble, and that's the only time you can have it. Now, there's the other Mishnah in Reisha and Zion and Sif Yud Ches, where the Mishnah says that the Kallus have to be on the table already from before Adlakas Neros. But you know already that Mishnah is a little bit difficult because there's nobody really that Be'etzim wants that the Kallus have to be on the table before. So I said Chumras, and that the Kallus have to be on the table before Ben Hashmashes Bechlal, by the time of the Kabbalah. So the whole Mishnah over there is a Chumra Gedoyla. So you have to know Mishnah is just saying the minig, and you have to know maybe he's saying the minig, like I told you. Maybe there is a chumrah out there later, but if you want to know what's the shitas Mishnah Berurah, it's a very big kula. Now, how strong could you make this kula? Now, I don't even know how far you can take this kula, because really it comes out maybe a sveik of the chumrah, right? Maybe, because watch. Let's say my chalas went onto the table 20 minutes after Shkia, okay? 20 minutes after Shkia. Now, first of all, I told you last time, there are achrayim not like this. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, Zichron Levracha, I mentioned last time. The others, right? There's really a Taisvis in Daf Mem Gimel Amid Aleph. Taisvis says if it was on the table Shah Echas, if the leichter was on the table already Shah Echas, fakert, the exact opposite of what I said. Maybe that already was the time. It was there for 1 second. So for that second, maybe that was the second. The exact opposite of what I just said. Right? Maybe that. So if the challah wasn't on the table for 1 minute, 70 minutes it wasn't, whatever. But there was 1 minute where it was the leichter was alone. Maybe that's the minute. The exact opposite of what I just said. I told you the Prima Gadim has this suffix. And there's Maisha in Lamed Gimel, in Chav Beis Lamed Gimel, we read it last time. He says it's got to be there. That if it was there at any time during Ben Hashmashes, checkmate. Chumrah from Nigris Maisha. Chumrah from Nigris Maisha. Chumrah from Nigris Maisha. Just a moment, sorry. He's going, whatever now is his shita, klape, right? What'll be his shita, klape, that I'm going to figure out now with the oilam to make this practical. But I just wanted to build it like this. Here, and so you've got in Lamed Gimel, what is it? Here. Eze chelik of Ben Hashmashes is goyrim the chayfetz to be muksa. Shaila, but didn't because imayam muksa afilu zman mu'et. If there was even for a little bit of time, bein betchila ben hashmashes, bein besayf ben hashmashes, so then it's checkmate. V'loi bein, and I don't need it to be there the whole ben hashmashes. That Mishnah, Rabbi Moshe is fighting on the Mishnah Berurah. Rabbi Moshe is a big man. Rabbi Moshe is a big fight. Rabbi Moshe Mishnah Berurah. I told you it's a machlekes Rishonim now. It's a machlekes Taisus against Iran. Mishnah Berurah is mefurish one way. Now you could maybe start making like fakes and things like that, right? Let's try and figure this out, right? So let's make it practical, okay? 5 minutes after Shkia, I remember Oigevalt, and I put the challah on the table. That's a common thing. It's not such a crazy thing. 5 minutes after Shkia. And I'm somebody that zicher 5 minutes after Shkia is, by me that's Shkia already. And like I said, I think everybody in this room doesn't do malacha after Shkia anyways, or they shouldn't. And therefore, by all of us, this is already now not so pashit, because according to Rabbi Moshe, it's for sure checkmate. According to Rabbi Moshe, it's a double whammy checkmate, because first of all, this is the ben hashmashes that everybody keeps to a certain extent, and second of all, you need it to be there. At any time that it was not with a challah. So for the first 4 minutes after Shkia, it was there without a challah. So then that's it. So those 4 minutes create a problem, and that's a very big problem. According to the Mishnah Berurah, what should come out? So according to the Mishnah Berurah, let's see, maybe you can make a sveik lakula. We could go like this. Maybe exactly according to the Mishnah Berurah, for 4 minutes my leichter was on the table after Shkia. Okay, this Maisa was Maisa Shaya about a year ago. I remember somebody came to me. That's what they told me, that the wife put the challah on the table 5 minutes after Shkia. So maybe this is sveik lakula. Okay, let's figure this out. According to the Mishnah Berurah, you're for sure okay, because it wasn't there the leichter on the table the whole ben hashmashes. So I'll tell you the first 4 minutes. No, that's not Shabbos. Second of all, maybe the first 4 minutes is not even, it's not ben hashmashes even. There's a tzad gadol to say it's not even ben hashmashes. Bein rabbeinu tam, bein this, bein that. So there is a makom to be makel on this shaila. It's not kedai to get into this shaila. That's how I'm going to leave it at halach l'maisa. And then each case you have to done. What happens? Somebody remembers this 39 minutes after Shkia. Okay? 39 minutes after Shkia, puts a challah on the table. Now it's already, it's not so pretty anymore. According to Rabbi, it's for sure checkmate. That's no question, right? Even according to the Mishnah Berurah, you might be pushing it over here. Maybe Ben Ishmashis is done. 13 minutes, maybe Ben Ishmashis is done. 36 minutes, maybe Ben Ishmashis is done. This is 39 minutes after Shkia. I'm not going to be willing to be makel in such a case. I hope Doilan gets. This is how you would done each shayla. I can't go through all 1 to 72 minutes and whatever. Let's say it's a chassidistic fellow, right? And he tells me, okay, I don't do malacha after Shkia, but I'm not proud of it, and by me, Rabbeinu Tam is whatever, and I don't, never, I won't do drabanan, not deraisa, not a minig, not a tainus, not in anything, right? And I certainly daven mincha after Shkia, no question, and whatever. And he comes and he tells me 39 minutes after Shkia, I remembered about the challah, and I put the challah. Listen, this is a yid that a guy, he has a dead beaver on his head. I'm not going to start with him and his zaydas and his rebbes. Stam I'll be mekel. What? Yushalayim, they're more machmir, but there's different sections of Yushalayim. Right? No, I'm not talking about doing malacha. I'm talking about, but you won't daven until Rabbeinu Tam. What? The Yushalmers are different. The Yushalmers aren't Chassidim. They just look like Chassidim. They're not Chassidim. The Tamid and the girl. They're not Chassidim. What? Yushalayim Chassidim, you mean? Fine. So if you fit into this category, besider, I'm not, If I have my speakers about certain Yugalite here. I was talking for them because I have to be ethnically proper and whatever, But there comes a point where I won't give in anymore, If he puts the challah on the table 71 minutes after Shkia, I don't think I'm going to be so friendly because now it's a sfeik l'chumra, right? First of all, maybe it had to be there. Maybe it was there for 1 minute. That's already a problem. And number two is maybe we're way past Ben Ishmashis. But does everybody understand the thought process? Yeah, it's clear. Clear? What? Nah, not 90. 19 minutes after Shkia, and he puts a challah on the table. And he keeps 36, or he keeps Rabbeinu Tam. If it would be Shragi Kallus, I'd be Mekel. Okay, I'd be Mekel. Why? Because I hold Rabbeinu Tam like the Shabbos. Right? I hold it l'chumra, but you see that Rabbeinu Tam exists by me. I won't do malacha until Rabbeinu Tam. What? It's true, only for their ISIS. But you see, I have to say right that it exists for me. Right, so then I have a right to make it fake. But if you have somebody that is doing malacha 36 minutes afterward, I'm not so friendly. I don't know. But the shita that holds 36 minutes afterward is not going with Rabbeinu Tam at all. What? It doesn't work like that. It works. I don't think it works like that. Akapanim, that's his dust. But okay, halacha l'maisa, Rabbi Naiman, I want you to know the kitzer, the chayadam, halacha l'maisa. They go shkia. So don't. What I said about Kabbalah Shabbos is chumras gedolos. The kitzer is in Peitats Beis. He says make sure the chal is on the table by shkia. What is shkia that we dealt with the whole day? The Chayadam says this in Samach Zayin, Sivkat and Yud Zayin. This is us. Okay, now Adkan, is everybody with me? Because starting a new part of a sugya now. Now it's a very interesting sugya, very geschmackes sugya. And it was a Ma'aseh Shahaya this Friday night. But let's get there. There's a new sugya over here. The Mishnah Berurah makes a mention of this sugya. This is called a kina shel tar negolim. It's a brand new sugya, totally new sugya. Well, it's not really, it's a part of Basas, but it's a whole new thing. The Gemara in Memhei, in Shabbos, Memhei and Beis, the Gemara discusses that an egg landed on a nest. An egg is muksa on Shabbos? Yeah. Why is an egg muksa? Not a regular egg. An egg in the fridge might not be muksa, but an egg that was born from the schnitzel on Shabbos, that could be muksa. Why is it muksa? That's noilad. That's his noilad. What do you want? That's noilad. Okay. So they had a baby, and there it is, and it's on the nest. But you need the nest. You need the nest, right? You want to take the nest. What do you need the nest for, right? You need it to what you put a head like a tichel, what? Strimel, whatever, right? Or whatever. No, what else could you need a nest for on Shabbos? What can you need a nest for, right? So, what? Purim costume, what? Oh, that's what I was thinking. That's a little bit more normal. Thank you, Rabbi Moyle. Like something to hold the challah. That's a bit more normal. So you want to take, that's what Rabbi Moyle said. So you want to take the nest to hold the challah. So what are you going to do? So Rabbi say, it's much worse than shakach, right? It's much worse than shakach. If I put something there and I forget, I don't even know it got there, So shakach, right? So then I'll just like menayer it off, right? I'll menayer it, I'll shake it off. I don't care about the egg, I'll shake it off, and then I'll have a challah cover. Did it become a basis at Ben Ishmashis? So the Gemara says, why should it become a basis? It's not better than shachach. Sagt the Gemara, Amar Yechanan, Kina shel Tarnagoyim, Hanach Kina shel Tarnagoyim. That's totally different. That's totally different. Nu Yisoid in basis. That's totally different. There's no games. You can't call that shachach. That's the makim amayuchad for the egg. There's no games. This makim is miyuchad for the egg. So what are you going to say? Shachach. Shachach is I have something on a table. I forgot on the table. I forgot there's a computer on the table. What are you doing? I forgot, whatever. But let's say this is its makim. So this is its makim. It doesn't matter shachach. Doesn't matter nothing. This becomes a basis. Good? This is the klal of kina shel tarnagoyim. Something that was, and the Mishnah brings this klal. Where's Mishnah by us? Simon Shintas. And Sivkatan, where was she? Yitchas, I think. End of Yitchas. Kina shel tarnagoyles, right? The kina sham beitza sheyeshba v'yesham beitza yeshba afroyach shaitza beitza asur betiltel, and that egg is also afshala yada mibayid yain. He didn't know the egg was there. Mikol makam came in shederechu bekach. Since that's normal for her to be there, so therefore have a kiminiach lo have a shoycheach. V'nasa kina basis, and this becomes a basis. V'kein b'kol makoim k'yoytze b'zeh, and everything like this, that it's normal. Darkly as a mutza lo b'variyam. So where's this again? I keep telling you, it's like such a big deal. Is it really such a big deal? Does anybody here have a nest, except for Rabbi Moyle? Does anybody here have a nest? Is this a normal case? So I looked around in the what you have a nest? What is it? What? You don't know a nest. He pointed at you. Okay. It's not normal. So the Shmir Shabbos, he's like schwitzing to find a case where it says again, the English books. They bring in the English books. Accordion case. Does anybody have an accordion? An accordion case? I would have at least wrote a guitar. No? What? But you have an accordion? You have an accordion? Okay. Kiddush. Go button. That's like the one, you see the English books were like suffering over here. They wanted to make this like practical, so he said, like if somebody, let's say I didn't ask you to, but you put my accordion in my accordion case, and now look at the case, Rabbi Isai, it was a very no-gay case. And now I need the accordion case in Shabbos, right? That's the case. They were schwitzing to find something is negay. Or I would say like a guitar case, very negay. What's the case? If I put it in there, it's miniach. Elamai, the case is someone else put it. I didn't ask him to do it. And we say, well, that's where it belongs. And therefore, if somehow it came out, that accordion case is muksa. You hear the maisa? It becomes a bus. It's such a very negay problem, right? Or where Moyle wants to use it to put in, what are you going to put in the accordion case, right? Falafel. What? You need it for corn? The Rosh Koila. I mean, I'm the Rosh Koila now. It's over. All this. Now, Baisai. So Shmir Shabbos, he's a little bit more negeya, but like not really more negeya, but a little bit more negeya. The Shmir Shabbos in Klav, in the 20th parak, in the 23rd sif, he says like this. He says, I'll tell you where it's negeya. It's negeya wallet. A wallet is miyuchad for halavai, but it's miyuchad for gelt, right? It's miyuchad for gelt, so so it's miyuchad for gelt. So he says, that's okay. So what's the case? I guess the pshat is this: if somebody put the money in on Erev Shabbos and somehow the money came out, because otherwise it's anyways holding it, right? And now you want to know, can I move that wallet? Is that wallet a klisha malachta the isser, or is it a basis for the muksa? It's the holder of the muksa. So now we say, even if you didn't want it, like a weird case. Is this negaya? Everybody say, like what? What's a negaya? What? Computer what? A computer. A desk that's miyuchad for the computer. I'm not even sure if you're right, if either way they're learning. What? Any basket that holds muksa. You mean like a potato basket? Yes, potato basket. What? My computer bag. My computer bag. Okay, not bad. Yeah. Yeah, so my computer bag and somebody, but what's the case? What's the case? No, but I'm saying if there's a computer in there, one second, if there's a computer in there, it's checkmate anyways. Tell me what happened, right? So they find the case, this is Negea. What? No, but I'm saying, so I want to know, can I move the computer bag now? It's only a problem. No, wait. Doesn't understand. Slow. Wait, slow. Watch the case. I'm just trying to show you how not Negea this is. If the computer's not in the bag, so then the bag is what? What's this bag, Rabbi said? The computer wasn't in the bag when Shabbos came in. What's this bag? Call it a klishim machtal yeser. It's probably oimit to hold iser, right? It's oimit to hold muksa. So it's a klishim machtal yeser. It's not holding the muksa now. So I'll be allowed to move it to gufa mekaymai, right? So right now I want to move it. It's blocking me. Okay. But now what's the case? the case Akina. The computer's in there. So what's the case that I need the bag and I'm gonna? If the computer's in there, of course I can't move the bag, right? What? No. Oh, you meant to hold it in that way. That nest is a nest. That's how it holds it, right? No. So listen to the weird case. Listen to the weird case. I have a computer in the bag. The guy came to the house, took the computer out, and now I want to know, can I move the bag? So now we say, and wait, and I didn't put the computer in the bag on Erev Shabbos to be there. I put the computer in the bag. I didn't want the computer in the bag, and somebody put the computer in the bag, and then they got taken out. It's like the weirdest case in the world, right? Can I skip it? Everyone agrees I can skip it? What? Sorry? Okay, so this is the most case we can get. I didn't put it in an Erev Shabbos b'dafka, right? It's got like 4 whammies, right? I didn't put it in b'dafka, which is a normal human beings did. Okay, I didn't. Someone else put it in. Okay, I didn't want it there, whatever that is. I mean, and more so, when somebody else puts it there, it's probably what? It's probably nichale. It's probably doing it for me. It's probably my wife, right? It's probably nichale. So wait a minute. Okay, but that's not the case. It was somebody else who's not my wife, right? And she puts it in. Okay, already Akasha, what's going on here? Okay, but she puts it in. Then what? Then it falls out on Shabbos because she didn't zipper it, right? She didn't zipper it because it fell. Now it fell out on Shabbos. And now what? And now I want to know, can I move that bag? Because, and until now I was anyways only able to move the bag Tzar Gufa Mekoymai, right? Now I want to do what? I want to be able to move that bag Tzar Gufa Mekoymai. So that's the case. Is it nageh? Does my contract allow me to skip it? What? Yeah? Everyone agree? Skip? You skip? Rosh Chodesh, skip? Skip? Okay, so you can't skip it. You can't skip it. You can't skip it. But it seems to me that all of these Svarim did not read the most wonderful Sefer that was written in the last 100 years. Everybody said, how many times did the Mishabura go over his Sefer? So many times in the course of 26 years, he went over his Sefer. How much kayach did he put into every word? Don't we have at least the decency to read the words in the Mishabura? The decency, the basic decency, to read the words and to learn up the Sefer Mishabura. He worked so hard on the Sefer. And he did it for who? For himself? He did it for us. He did it so we should have. Mishabura over here doesn't say this. He doesn't say this. He doesn't say over here that it's like, the way I've been describing till now, I've been describing things that are miyuchad lekach. Miyuchad, a kina shel tarnagoyim is a nest that holds eggs. It's an egg nest, And that's what we've been describing. Therefore, accordion cases, a wallet, a computer bag, whatever. It's bedafka there. It's miyuchad for that and that alone. Rabbi, everybody had their idea. Rabbi Singer said a basket which is miyuchad to hold potatoes. Miyuchad, right? Some want to say, I saw one sefer, he says a garbage can is miyuchad to hold muksa. I mean, by me, that doesn't even exist. By me, a garbage can is miyuchad to hold heter. Right? What's it miyuchad for? It's miyuchad to hold heter. But okay, let's say a diaper pail. So that's where it is. It's miyuchad to hold diapers. They have those. They have those diaper ones that they sell in the store. It has like a plastic bag, long bag. Everybody knows what I'm talking about? Or, that long bag. So that's miyuchad. That case is that, let's say I put it in there and I planned on taking it out before Shabbos. I don't know what, right? Now you can't move her. Now you can't move it. Well, anyways, you can't move it because they're in there. But so what happened? I don't know. Somehow they got out. I don't know. But anyways, that'll be, that becomes a basis because it's miyuchad. So if you go through this, it's very, very rare that you can find a case because usually the thing is there. And usually I put it there. And usually it's still there. So then what's it negay? Kimat. Kimat's not negay. What? Yeah. Okay. It's not bad. In other words, it's miyuchad for the diaper pail, for the diapers. Then what? And then this happened to you, right? No, you didn't want anyone to know, right? So now they know. So Nissen had the diapers that were all smelly and gefährlich and whatever. So he took it out. And now what? Now and he planned on taking it out on Erev Shabbos, right? Because he knew it would smell, right? So then you can't say of them taka that was miniach. It was like a shachach. But on that we're going to say since it's miyuchad for the diaper lach, so therefore das is a kina shel tarnagoyim. And now afterward the diaper pail is not just a kli shel makal yeser. That's evil muksa and you can't move it. Not l'tzarek gufa, not l'tzarek mekoyim. Very good. That's a good case. But it's weird. It's like one case. Let's put it like this. Let's say I would never have taught you this. So would anybody have a taina? Would anybody have a taina? How could you have a taina? I would tell you, come on, the whole case. I don't feel guilty about. It's like one case that kimat is never going to happen. Okay, that's what I would have maybe said. But the Maisa, I don't know. Let's read the Mishabur together. Mishabur at the end again. Kina shatar negoyla. V'yesh sham beya. She'oisei beya sura. Av shelo yada b'baydiyoin. She'asham beya. Mikol makoim. Kevan. Now, Agav, there's also another thing here. Okay, let's see. Kevan shederechu bekach. Ooh. Oh, it doesn't say miyuchid. Who said that? It doesn't say miyuchid. It doesn't say miyuchid. Kevan shederechu bekach. Something that not that it's miyuchid for that. An accordion case is miyuchid. A guitar case is miyuchid, right? Golf clubs have a special holder, miyuchid, right? The Chasar Kiss golf clubs, whatever, right? Miyuchid. That's miyuchid. Maybe the garbage pail, miyuchid. Okay. Here the Mishabur says something that's dark bekach. What's the difference between dark and miyuchid? Whoa, a world of difference. No. Darka, this is a big chumrah. Before we had a big kula from Mishabur, now you have a big chumrah. Mishabur is saying anything that's normal to be there, not that it's miyuchid for it to be there, something that's darka bekach, havik miniach, that already becomes miniach. V'nasa kina basis, she's a basis. Then he says, v'kein b'kol makoyim kayoytze bezeh, anything which is darka li yoysa muksa olav. Anything that's darka li yoysa muksa olav, that's already bas miniach. Oh my goodness. Give me cases now. What trouble has this caused us? What? Wait, slowly. Don't have to go. What about, please, let's go in order. Garbage. A lot of things. Wait, Rabbi say. We have big problems if this is true. Rabbi say, let's see. Is it normal to put money in your pocket? Yeah. Oh, so what did I tell you the other day? I told you the other day that money in the pocket, you forgot about the money in the pocket. I just saw a light bulb on a few heads already. You put money in the pocket. What did I say? That's shachach. The pants are not a basis, right? Whoa. What's shachach? Shachach. It's dark to be there. If it's dark to be there, so then it's a kina shel tarnagolim. There's no such thing as shachach. You know what I just said is the biggest chum you ever heard in this room. Ever. We have to fix this because we're in big trouble if this is right. This is the biggest chum you ever heard in this room. That means that if you put money in your pocket on Friday and you forgot it there, which I kept telling you for sure, forgot it there, right? That was all the cases we spoke about. You forgot it there. He tells us, I forgot it there. So now we kept saying, okay, it's tiltel minatzat, it's nishkeferlich, this, that. What's tiltel minatzat? It's not tiltel minatzat. Now the whole pants become a bus. We'll have to see if pants become a buses or whatever. Let's say your shirt pocket, because there's a whole shiloh of things can become buses if it's the pants pocket. Your shirt pocket. This is a very serious problem. The whole pocket becomes a buses now, right? Is that true? It's definitely darko. Right? It's definitely dark. If you went with the Shmir Shabbos, that type of mahalach, the English books, so then I'm asking, it's not miyuchid for holding money. It's not miyuchid. It's not a money holder. It's not an accordion case. It's not a this, right? What other cases? Let's see this. Let's see. I have a drawer, let's say, and in that drawer, I put muksa. No, whatever. So I have a drawer, in that drawer, I put muksa. Is that darka bekach? Yes. Doesn't have to be miyuchid. So then I decide, even if I forget something in that drawer, I didn't plan on it being in there, but doesn't matter. My freezer door, which has on it the raw fish, the raw chicken, the raw this, the raw that, whatever. And I know Erev Shabbos, I don't really like getting involved in that shy. Okay, well there we said it's not a basis, because a basis is a davar mutter anyways. So it won't be a basis anyways. Okay, so that's a bad example. But if you're Rosh Shabbos, he's going to be in trouble with that, right? Rosh Shabbos will be in trouble with that. Yeah, but I think he learns dark eye rules. Okay, so I don't know. What else is there? What other cases is there? What? Computer on a table. Is it normal for the computer to be on the table? Yeah, for sure. Right? For sure normal for the computer to be on the table. Is it miyuchet to be on the table? No. Is it normal to be on the table? Yeah. All right. It's definitely normal. What? Phone on the bed. I'm not sure if that's the darko to be there. It's darko to be having been left there. Darko means to be bedafka there. There's a very big difference. That's a big aside. Darko to be there bedafka is different than darko to be forgotten there. That's not the same idea. That's not going to be called a kinish tarnagoylim, somewhere that I always forget things. I'll give you an example. Watch. Let's see. I have a big problem here because I have a raya not like I said. In Simon Reish Samech Vav in the Bir Lacha and Yud Beis, and we mentioned this way back when. The Bir Lacha and Reish Samech Vav Yud Beis, he's talking about a person that on Shabbos, Erev Shabbos, he has money and he's walking with and he finds out on Shabbos he's still carrying money. It says Bir Lacha here in Yud Beis. It's the last Bir Lacha, I think. Reish Samech Vav. He says, actually right before the last one. He talks about he says, where is she? There it is. Listen to this. Bekis sheyeshel of Torah's kli, v'loy nasis basis lamayas. Your pocket over here didn't become a basis. Kevan shenichu b'shikcha. He forgot it. He forgot the money in this pouch, in this pocket over here, right? If the kiss, he forgot the money in the pocket. So he says, so therefore it's not a basis. It's darker to put money in the pocket. So it's a big pillow, right? Big pillow, right? It's darker to put the money in the pocket, and he forgot about the money. What's the answer to this? So he says, no, it's not a shikha. He says it's not miniach, it's called shikha, but well, who cares? It's darker to be there. What? What do you mean? What do you mean you don't want it? Explain what you're saying. No, this is a big problem. Let me explain to you like this. At first, I thought like this. There is a definite difference between my suit, my Shabbos suit, and my weekday suit. Okay, there's a definite difference between my Shabbos suit and my weekday suit. Wow. But is it the derech to put money in my Shabbos suit? No. It's the derech to put in the money and take it out. Maybe, at best. Right? That's not what we're discussing. In other words, I didn't just knock out the whole entire heter of pants and pocket. Maybe that's what the Halachos is talking about here. Again, there's two levels here. There's a level of being meyuchel lekach. You see the Mishabura is not being that liberal. Mishabura is saying something, once it's already derech to be there, then we don't have the heter of shachach. That's what it says in the Mishabura. Now, is it as extreme as I just said? Anything that's a derech to be there, that's it, it's not shachach? So then it comes out that a person who has his suit from last night to Shabbos, he puts it on Shabbos, he doesn't remember there's coins in there, so the pocket is a basis. Is that true? It's not mistaper. It's not mistaper. The word is like this. The word is that if it's the derech to be there, money, and to leave it there. If the derech is to be there and leave it there, it's a normal thing to put money there and to leave it there and you don't care, then that's a getter of a miniach, even if you were shachach. But let's say you have my case of the Shabbos suit. What's the derech? The derech is to put money in the pants pocket of your Shabbos suit and to leave it there? For sure not. For sure not. So maybe that's not a kiddush tarnagoyim. A kiddush tarnagoyim, listen to the Lashon Mishabura again. This is the hard part. Mishabura says, it's mikom makam derech ubekach, have a kaminiach. Anything that's a derech, Mishabura says, darka liyois hamuksa olav. It's darka to be there, to remain there, etc. I was thinking that the Shabbos suit heter we would still have. The Shabbos suit heter would still have. That would still be called shachach if you forgot it there. The only question is that what about, and that maybe is pshat over there. I don't know. Maybe that's the case over there in Reish Samach Vav Sif Yud Beis. It's talking about that, like that's what you're saying, Rabbi Lieberman, that type of idea. That's talking about its Shabbos suit. He obviously put it there right before Shabbos. He certainly doesn't want it there. It's not the derech to leave it there. It's Shabbos. The Shabbos. How far do you take this though? Let's say I have my weekday coat, and it's very, very cold outside, and my weekday coat is warmer or something like that, and it has money in it, and I definitely forgot the money. I definitely forgot it. I didn't plan on keeping my money there. I just forgot it there. That mistamel of the Mishnah would probably be a problem. No, that'll be a kinish shel tarnagoyim. That's darker to be there. It's also the darker to leave it there. I mean, right? I think people in their coat, they just leave money. Now you have to know yourself. You know if that's true. Let's say somebody comes to me and says, "I put money in my pocket. I never ever leave it there. Only when I go, I never ever leave the money there. I'll never leave it there." So even on a weekday suit, that'd be misapik. I mean, but certainly on the Motzei Shabbos, the Shabbos suit. I'm certainly think that klur wouldn't be a kinish shel tarnagoyim, even according to the way we're reading the Shabura. Just a moment. But on a weekday suit, you know, if that's normal that you leave it there, then that'll be a kinish. Darka liyois sham. I don't know. It's definitely darker to be there. It's definitely darker to be there. I mean, this is the hard part. I don't know. What should we do here? No. What? Oh, okay, this is a mistake. Oh my goodness, we went 58 minutes. Let me just read you one more thing. Listen to Shartzian. You have to clarify this, Rabbi say. Tomorrow we go fight this, no games. Shartzian says, Hassam, afim darka laniach sham bateva gam dvar muksa, Mishabura says even in a drawer, this is the raya against all the English books. Mishabura says even in a drawer, you could be considered darka bikach, and that's already considered, it's a normal thing for it to be there. It's already darka bikach, it's a normal thing. Mishabura just says, but you still have to have the basis bakrai, because nobody said that this thing has to dafka be underneath and this thing dafka has to be on top and whatnot. That's what Mishabura says over here. Look, halacha l'maisa. What comes out? What changes based on this? Let me just think a minute. What? Weekday trousers, if you this weekday pants will be a problem. If you this weekday pants, if you have money in the weekday pants, you might not have shachach because you got it's darker. What? Yeah, let's say Rabbi say, yeah, this is a very big problem. Let's say you have a computer on the table. You wouldn't have planned it on being there. You know, I'll give you a case. Think about this case, and then we'll end this like this, okay? Rabbi say, the whole week on your living room table, you have the computer. Oh, this is a very evil case. This is a very evil case. The whole week you have on the living room table, you have your computer. The whole week, right? Friday afternoon was very busy and crazy and this and that. And you didn't get the chance to set the table by chatzos, and not even by plug, and not even by shkia. And the computer remained on the table. I ask you all, is that computer shachach? Is there any shachach greater than this? Right? It's screaming shachach, right? Screaming shachach, right? Well, are you allowed to move that computer? I mean, the computer can't move, but are you allowed to move the table and like tilt off the computer, or something like that, or whatever, or whatever, get a guy. We'll see that it is a heter for a guy to move muksa when it's tzarich mekaymai, even an evil muksa, because a guy might be considered like a tiltum in atzad. So I need the makam here, right? Or is the table a basis? After what you heard today, is the table a basis? For 140 hours of the week, the computer's on this table. Is it the derech to be there? Who cares? Who cares? The derech to kiveya, the derech to be there on Shabbos? I know something bothers me about this case, but who thinks according to Mishabur Tzasa? I don't know. Mishabur says, Kaven should derech hu b'kach. Is it the derech for this computer to be on the table? What's the answer? What's the answer? What? That's what he says. Mishabur doesn't say that. Absolutely not. Derech hu b'kach. No, he doesn't. Kol kayayitzav darkai liyois hamuksa alav. Mishabura says, "Darka liyois hamuksa alav." Is it normal for the computer to be on the table? Throw it at you, Rabbi Khan. Right? Is it? It doesn't say on Shabbos or not. He says, "Is it derech to be there?" Who says it's a problem? Who says it sounds like a problem? I don't know if I have an answer for this. It's checkmate. It's derech for the computer to be on the table. This is a terrible case. No, there's probably a million cases like this. Right? Rabbi shared. It's not like the phone on the pillow. That's accidental. That's not bedafka. There's a big difference. Right? This is a big problem. No. This is a big problem, no? Okay, we'll have to convene tomorrow. All right. Rabbi, I wanted to tell you all something that that maybe I didn't say in the beginning of this year, because maybe one of you